Recognize Representative Knott for his 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Urban, I want to talk to you quickly about some of the misconceptions out there, but criminal organizations, the best ones are the hardest to catch. They have a proficiency of layering in camouflage, making it very difficult to apprehend, to investigate. And in my time with law enforcement, there's some easy pickings, the guys that are walking around the sidewalk with an AK-47. That's easy. But it's the folks who are moving the currency, who are masking illegal with legal activities, so on and so forth. And I want you to talk to us a little bit about how the Chinese criminals have successfully hidden in polite society. Because when I investigated marijuana cultivation that was illegal, they had a very intricate network of legal front businesses that enabled them to move millions of dollars that looked legitimate. But when you start to peel the onion back, it was a pretty harrowing viewpoint. So talk to us about how they are successful in bedding in polite society.
So they become so successful as to exactly what you said because they're being controlled by the top echelon of Chinese organized crime, some of the most sophisticated operators in the world. They're very sophisticated and disciplined in the sense that they engage in what we would view as low-risk criminal activities, the money laundering. The violent component to what Mr. Anderson stated, that's only more recently. They try to stay away from violence or what would, have federal prosecutors become interested in prosecuting them, hence marijuana trafficking, money laundering, human smuggling. They also rely on this network in the Chinese underground banking system that's been around for years. And lastly, we touched upon this. It's very difficult to recruit confidential sources to engage these networks, and wiretap these networks on WeChat is impossible.
Yep. And in terms of the state structures, the state legalities, we were promised if you legalize it, you'll see less illegal marijuana. If you legalize it, there won't be nearly as many incidents with toxicities and so forth. In my experience prosecuting these cases, they used a sloppy legalization effort to almost balloon the amount of marijuana they were able to traffic. It was illegal in many instances, but the sloppy legal structures has brought about a greater problem in many respects.
So we don't have the regulatory component to this in place that would negate subsidizing or allowing organized crime on a national basis to exploit the marijuana market.
And in your, one of the things that is often misstated, it's framed as though you have a marijuana dealer and then every other type of criminal. In my experience, organized crime touches the full spectrum when they get to a certain level: methamphetamine, heroin, fentanyl. Marijuana is just one component of it. So to splice it out is often an inaccurate assumption. Is that your experience?
Absolutely.
Yep. Mr. Larkin, briefly, you mentioned, I'll give you a chance to answer the question that Mr. Carter asked. Would it be wise, yes or no, to legalize marijuana in the country, in your opinion?
No, it would not.
Why?
It is a problematic drug when you use it heavily or on a long-term basis. What I was going to say in response to the answer is we have not only the Controlled Substances Act at work here, we also have the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. For 80 years, we've trusted the FDA with deciding what is a drug and whether it is safe, effective, and uniformly made. The FDA could not say the cannabis plant is safe, effective, and uniformly made because it's not.
Well, one of the mistruths that proponents say is that there really isn't any problematic effects to marijuana. And it was interesting because when I was prosecuting organized crime, I only had a few cases, but they were really big cases in terms of quantity, in terms of sophistication, dealing with marijuana, but they targeted young people. Please describe the effects that young people suffer when they are exposed to high levels of marijuana on a continued basis.
The juvenile brain is in a labile state, particularly in men. It doesn't come fully formed until early in the 20s. And the problem is the THC content of cannabis today is not what it was back in the days of Woodstock. Back then, it was 3 to 6% THC. Now, in the plants, it can be up to 40%, and in processed forms, it can be 90%.
Has there been a successful state system that controls the supply of marijuana to deliver only safe product to the consumer?
Not to my knowledge. The problem is there is too great an amount of disuniformity in the product that's being sold. A few years ago, Nora Volko, the director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, said we don't have in place the mechanisms to make sure that what is being sold lacks the pesticides that we know are coming from China and that are creating problems. And will create even bigger problems 10 to 20 years down the road when we start seeing spikes in areas where there is a greater incidence of cancer because of it.
Well, thank you, witnesses, for your testimony. I'm sorry I'm out of time. Mr. Anderson, I had a lot of questions for you lined up, but maybe we'll get a second round if we're fortunate, and if not, I hope to have you back. Mr. Chairman, I do have a UC request. I've got an example here. It's a Department of Justice press release detailing 7 Chinese nationals and their roles in money laundering millions of dollars and smuggling kilograms of illegal marijuana.
Gentleman asked that it be put in the record without objection.
Thank you.
So ordered. Gentleman yields. I now recognize Mr.